Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here representing Jason Blaha Strength and Fitness, and today I want to chat with you guys and gals a little bit about the fact that normal people will not judge you by the body dysmorphia of internet fitness. But a quick reminder, if you guys will please click like down below, please drop me a comment with your thoughts or just to say hello under the video. I would appreciate it so much. And let's have this conversation, right? And this is always fascinating to me, right? As someone who sees all ends of it, as someone who's obviously for many years deeply entrenched in the online fitness world. I've been making content videos pretty much full time since 2012. Been involved in many forums in the past, and I've been in this community a long time. Been around the lifting world, 25 years, right? As an older dude, about to turn 49. So the things that I've noticed is the internet gets more and more extreme regarding what they consider to be even a mid physique, a decent physique, anything beyond a horrible physique. And we see these extremes, and I think people who get involved in that forget the reality. Okay, they forget the reality that the average person doesn't hold those views. And people say, why do we care about what they think? Because you're not going to meet internet people like this in real life very often. In other words, the odds that you're going to day anywhere in life, more than on rare occasion meet someone who's involved in the whole online fitness world with their viewpoints is low. You're just not going to meet them at work. You're probably not going to meet them in the dating scene. You're not going to meet them in different social settings. It's just going to be exceptionally rare. So outside of Instagram, okay, you're not going to meet people who hold the internet standards in this little small circles. And people forget that. And I think we've seen that. I saw some stuff with some of like Ben Carpenter and other people showing people who put up a picture of a guy videos without special lighting, just like, look, I've been lifting weights naturally for 17 years. I train 5 days a week. I've been doing it for 17 years, drug free, and this is what they look like. And they would get hateful comments, and they're like, what are you talking about? From a real life perspective, the guy looks phenomenal. Top 1% of the population. And we have to understand that. And people say, well, why that's promoting mediocrity. It's not promoting mediocrity. It's just not promoting trend and amazing genetics. Okay? And I don't think people understand that the standards set on the internet are genetics, usually relatively hefty drug use, even for some of the smaller guys, lighting, Photoshop, special angles, again, lighting even being a role, everything filtered, Photoshop, everything. That's the standard. You need to be clear that the person who you think is setting the standard of what a good physique is does not even have that physique. We need to be clear on that. They don't really have that physique. You take away the peaking they did for the pictures. You take away the magic lighting. You take away filters, Photoshop, all of that. And then you see, and I think people need to understand that when people have gone to expos, it's telling. I learned this back in 2013. I went to my first expo. And you realize real quickly, and I'm not going to go into all the details again, I was one of the biggest dudes there. I was shocked when I met other people who were putting out content. I was bigger than they were. And then that was commented on by a lot of them. And I'm like, are y'all serious? But these guys look great. They look better than me in videos and pictures. But they were not big. And on top of that, they still didn't look like the pictures and videos oftentimes. I mean, they had good physiques, but let's come back over to the guys who have the phenomenal physiques online who are setting the standards still have good physiques by normal standards. They don't look like what's in there. They don't look like the images that are being presented. Now, on top of that, what happens when you take the drugs away? I know they claim natural, that's fine. You take all the steroids, the growth hormone, and all that away. Take all the drugs away. You take away the lighting, you take away the peak, Every one of those guys look literally, they would look like the guy who puts up the normal lighting physique, since I've been training 15 years natural, who gets all the hate. You'll see some of these people, the experts, I've seen some doctors point them out to, no, these guys, this guy looks great, because I've seen several of them done. They're like by normal, and I've seen someone do that who looked at one of these, he was catching flack. He's like, as a doctor, he's like, this guy comes into my office and I see this physique. To me as a doctor, this is easily top 1%. Easily, by far, of health and physiques and what I see in terms of body composition. Like, this is elite. But it would be on the internet, people are like, wow, you wasted 15 years. You don't even look like you lift, bro. Yet by real world standards, they are in the top 1%. And that's what's funny. You know, even I catch flack on the internet, but in the real world, I've been out doing my walks or jogging and had a neighbor stop me and say, do you have a single ounce of body fat on your body? Now you come here on the internet, they're like, dude, you look like a fat old guy, right? Or you got loose skin while you're melting from losing 150 pounds of fat. In real world, nobody sees it. They don't see any of that. I get compliments. I'm at a grocery store, people say, wow, dude, you got big arms. And it's like on the internet, I have small arms. I'm not in a t-shirt. I've been told even by people I know, including women, like, you look like a Greek god. Okay? Because to normal people who are not entrenched in the internet culture, they've not seen anybody who looks like people like me don't walk around out there. Like, that's not normal, especially my over 40, because I'm 48 right now. It's just unheard of. Okay? That's not even top 1%. It's way beyond. Let's be clear, I could lose 20 pounds of muscle and put on 10 pounds of fat and easily be the top 1% for my age bracket. So there's your context, guys. Understand the real world. So when you're standing there working on your physiques and looking at everything from this body dysmorphia lens, you need to understand it is pure illusion you're being sold. And I know a lot of fitness people, when you start talking to them, even for them to do their photo shoots, the stuff that they go through just to look good shirtless, the amount of even drugs they take just to suppress their appetite and chewing nicotine gum and all these crazy strategies just to try to stay there for a little while for pictures, you'd be shocked. They don't really look like that. They can't even maintain that most of the time. So you have to understand that when you are setting what you want. So keep that in mind, guys. To the average person, just take any of your superhero movies. Like, to them, that would be an insanely impressive physique. So go back also, remember watching wrestling. Look at the physiques from pro wrestling. Many of them were voted some of the sexiest men alive. But they had to be up there all the time, week to week to week, performing. And they were still all on drugs, mind you. But you still look at those physiques, and by internet standards today, the guys who were making millions of dollars as pro wrestlers all on television, they couldn't maintain the shreddedness and stuff that people think you're supposed to be at. They couldn't do it, so they were almost never there, very few of them. And they were still on plenty of drugs and jacked. But these are guys who were voted sexiest men of the year and stuff. Remember Dwayne Johnson was voted that? That was an extreme body. Like, that is not obtainable to the normal person. But you were to take the physique that he had when he was voted sexiest man of the year by all these women for his body and stuff too, would be mid at best. Put that in perspective when you're setting your own goals, and understand that as long as you're not fat, if you don't have a belly and you have gained 10, 20 pounds of muscle from the starting point and you're anything under 20% body fat, to most people, you are going to be seen as having a nice body. Women are going to think it's attractive. Other dudes are going to think you're buff. People are going to ask you if you're on steroids. Okay? That's the real world.